Welcome back to my YouTube channel Coins, where today we will dive deep into the long, detailed, professional history of the 2 Piso 1985 coin from the Philippines. This is going to be a rich exploration covering the coin's origin, design, production, mintage, historical context, economic background, cultural significance, collector interest, global numismatic context, and so much more. So let us begin this journey by looking at the broader economic and political background of the Philippines in the 1980s during the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos, who ruled under martial law until 1981 and continued in power until 1986. The country was undergoing significant political tensions, social unrest, and economic challenges, marked by a declining peso inflation and rising external debt. The Central Bank of the Philippines sought to modernize and update the currency system, reflecting national pride and practical changes in the monetary system, and part of this effort was the introduction of the 2 Piso banknote, which was costly to produce and less durable compared to coins. The 1985 2 Piso coin became part of this series, continuing the movement towards coins in higher denominations. Now let us explore the design aspects. The obverse of the 1985 2 Piso coin features the portrait of Andres Bonifacio, the Filipino nationalist and revolutionary leader who is considered the father of the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. His image symbolizes bravery and national identity. Surrounding his portrait are the inscriptions Republika ng Pilipinas and the denomination 2 Piso, along with the mint year 1985. This design was meant to inspire national pride and connect everyday Filipinos to their revolutionary history. The reverse side features the official seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, known locally as Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, with stylized elements representing the country's economic aspirations. This seal not only reflects the authority behind the currency, but also connects the user to the larger financial system governing the country. Now focusing on mintage and production, the 1985 2 Piso coin was minted primarily in copper-nickel, giving it a silvery appearance and a resilient composition. The production techniques employed were influenced by global minting standards, aiming for durability and clarity in design. The mintage numbers for the 1985 issue were moderate, making it a relatively common coin at the time, but over the decades, the number of surviving coins in high grade has diminished due to circulation wear, making well-preserved pieces increasingly interesting to collectors moving into historical significance. The second Piso coin marked a transitional period in Philippine currency, where coinage began to play a bigger role in daily transactions, replacing lower-value banknotes. It reflected not only practical economic policy, but also symbolic representation of national heroes and cultural heritage. Andres Bonifacio's presence on the coin was not accidental. It was a deliberate choice to remind Filipinos of their revolutionary past, at a time when the country was facing its own political struggles and approaching the end of the Marcos era. The 1980s in the Philippines were marked by widespread protests and the famous People Power Revolution of 1986, which would eventually topple the Marcos regime and restore democracy, making the coins from this era particularly rich in historical context. When we shift to the global numismatic perspective, the 2 Piso 1985 coin occupies an interesting space. It reflects trends in world coinage during the late 20th century, when many countries were moving towards larger denominations in coin form as paper currency became more expensive to maintain. This was not unique to the Philippines, but was seen globally from Europe to Asia to the Americas in terms of collector interest. The 1985 2 Piso coin has become increasingly sought after, especially in uncirculated or proof condition. The grading of such coins is important, with collectors looking for details like sharp strike, clean surfaces, and minimal wear. Coins graded by reputable agencies like NGC or PCGS can command premium prices depending on their condition and rarity. Although the 1985 issue is not the rarest year in the series, it holds historical importance and symbolic weight that makes it a desirable addition to any Philippine coin collection. Now turning to cultural meaning, we must recognize that currency is more than just a medium of exchange. It is a carrier of national stories, values, and aspirations. The image of Andres Bonifacio on the second Piso coin serves as a daily reminder to Filipinos of their hard-fought independence and revolutionary spirit. It places Bonifacio alongside other national heroes like José Rizal and Emilio Aguinaldo, who appear on other denominations, creating a visual tapestry of the nation's past every time a Filipino handled a 2-Piso coin in 1985. They were engaging with a piece of their history and identity. Moving on to the technical specifications. The coin has a diameter of approximately 27 millimeters, a weight of about 8.5 grams, and a reeded edge. Its composition of copper-nickel gives it resilience in circulation, allowing it to withstand the daily wear and tear of commerce. The choice of materials was a balance between cost, durability, and aesthetic appeal, as the central bank sought to create a coin that was both functional and representative of national values. Let us now dive deeper into the events of 1985 to understand the context in which this coin circulated. The mid-1980s in the Philippines were a time of intense political activism, economic hardship and social transformation. International debt pressures, falling commodity prices, and internal corruption were straining the economy at the same time. Political opposition was growing, emboldened by the assassination of opposition leader Benigno Aquino Jr. in 1983. Leading to widespread protests that set the stage for the People Power Revolution. The coins circulating at this time, including the 2-Piso, were part of the economic landscape, helping to facilitate trade at markets, pay for transportation, cover daily expenses, and serve as a reminder of the state's authority in monetary matters over time as the central bank updated the coinage system and inflation continued to affect purchasing power. The 2-Piso coin gradually faded from regular use, eventually being replaced by newer designs and higher denominations. However, its legacy remains significant both as a historical artifact and as a symbol of a specific moment in Philippine history when the nation stood on the cusp of political change. Let us not overlook the artistic elements of the coin, which reflect the engraver's skill, the mint's capabilities, and the national iconography chosen for the era. The portrait of Bonifacio is carefully crafted to convey strength, determination, and heroism, while the lettering and insignia maintain clarity and balance. The choice of fonts, the arrangement of elements, and the proportional design all demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of both artistic and practical demands in coin production. When we look at comparative examples from other countries, we see that the Philippines was part of a broader trend in the 1980s to use coinage as a vehicle for national messaging. Many nations redesigned their coins during this period to feature important historical figures, cultural symbols, or national achievements, reflecting a desire to reinforce identity in a rapidly globalizing world. For numismatists today, the second Piso 1985 coin offers a fascinating window into this era, providing insights into not only the Philippines but also the broader dynamics of currency design, production, and circulation at the end of the 20th century. We can also explore how these coins are valued today in numismatic markets, with factors like condition rarity, historical importance, and collector demand, shaping their prices. Auctions online, marketplaces, and collector forums often feature discussions about the 2-Piso series, with special attention given to high-grade examples, varieties, or mint errors that can dramatically increase a coin's value and appeal. Finally, let us reflect on the enduring legacy of the 2-Piso 1985 coin as more than just a piece of metal, but as a compact artifact of history, economy, art, and national identity. It tells the story of a country navigating economic and provides future generations with a tangible link to their national journey, whether held by a collector, studied by a historian, or remembered by someone who used it in daily life. The 1985 2 Piso coin remains an enduring symbol of the Philippines' resilience, pride, and ongoing story. So as we continue to explore coins like this one, we uncover not just their material details, but also the deep currents of meaning, history, and human experience they carry forward across time. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we explore the fascinating world of coins from across history and around the globe. And today we are diving into the rich and complex story behind one of the most iconic and sought-after American coins ever minted, the 1909 Wheat Penny, also known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent. And more specifically, we will focus on the inaugural year of this coin, which is filled with historical intrigue, political significance, artistic innovation, and numismatic value that continues to captivate collectors and historians alike. The story of the 1909 Wheat Penny begins in the early 20th century, at a time when the United States was experiencing rapid industrial growth, urban expansion, and significant social change under the leadership of President Theodore Roosevelt, a leader known not only for his domestic and foreign policies, but also for his deep interest in the aesthetics of American coinage. Roosevelt believed that the coins of the United States should reflect the artistic and cultural dignity of a great nation, and he sought to reform what he saw as bland and uninspired designs on the nation's circulating currency. To carry out this mission, Roosevelt reached out to renowned American sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens, who had already established himself as a master of classical and Renaissance-inspired sculpture. St. Gaudens began work on new designs for several coins, most notably the $20 double eagle and the $10 eagle, both of which are today considered masterpieces of numismatic art. However, St. Gaudens passed away in 1907 before he could complete his vision for the entire spectrum of American coinage, and that left an opportunity for another artist to step into the spotlight. Enter Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor and medalist who had immigrated to the United States in the late 19th century. Brenner had gained Roosevelt's admiration after designing a medallion of the president, and in 1909 he was commissioned to create a new design for the 1-cent coin, a denomination that had featured the Indian head cent since 1859. Roosevelt wanted to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and he believed that a coin bearing Lincoln's likeness would be a fitting tribute to the legacy of the 16th president. Brenner's design for the obverse of the new cent featured a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, inspired by a photograph taken by Matthew Brady and a plaque Brenner had sculpted years earlier that had already gained wide acclaim. The image captured Lincoln's thoughtful expression and conveyed a sense of dignity and solemnity that resonated with the American public. The reverse of the coin featured two stylized stalks of Durham wheat encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum. Arching above the wheat reverse was simple, elegant, and symbolic of American agriculture and abundance. Released to the public on August 2nd of that year, it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin, and it was also the first time Lincoln was honored in such a way. The response from the public was immediate and enthusiastic. People lined up at banks and treasury offices to obtain the new cents, and they were quickly hoarded by collectors and everyday citizens alike. The novelty of the design, coupled with the nation's enduring reverence for Lincoln, made the coin an instant sensation. However, the coin also generated controversy in part due to Victor David Brenner's initials, which appeared prominently on the reverse at the bottom center between the wheat stalks. The initials VDB were deemed by some officials and members of the public to be too conspicuous and an inappropriate form of self-promotion for a government-issued coin. This controversy led to the abrupt removal of the initials from the design after only a short run, resulting in two major types of 1909 wheat pennies: the 1909 VDB, and the 1909 without VDB. Adding further complexity to the story is the fact that the coin was struck at two mints, the Philadelphia Mint and the San Francisco Mint. The coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from San Francisco bear a small S below the date on the obverse. Combined with the presence or absence of the VDB initials, this results in four distinct varieties for collectors to pursue: the 1909 no VDB, the 1909 VDB, the 1909 S no VDB, and the legendary 1909 SVDB, which is widely regarded as one of the most important and valuable key dates in the entire Lincoln Cent series. The 1909 SVDB is notable, not just for its scarcity with an original mintage of just 484,000 coins, but also for the fervor it has inspired among generations of coin collectors. It represents the perfect storm of historical significance, artistic controversy, low mintage, and collector demand, making it one of the cornerstones of American numismatics. The coin remains highly sought after in all grades and commands, significant premiums especially in uncirculated condition. Beyond its market value, the 1909 Wheat Penny stands as a testament to a pivotal moment in American history when art, politics, memory, and monetary design intersected in a meaningful way. It marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage, where historical figures replaced allegorical imagery and where coins became more than just instruments of commerce. They became tools of cultural identity and national heritage. In the decades that followed, the Lincoln Wheat Cent continued to evolve, with minor design modifications, shifts in composition due to wartime needs, and the eventual replacement of the wheat reverse in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design to commemorate the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. But no matter how the coin changed over the years, the 1909 issues remained singular in their importance and continue to be a foundational piece in both historical study and collecting passion. Each of the four 1909 varieties analyzing their design elements, minting processes, die markers, and known errors. We will also explore the socio-political environment of the early 20th century to understand why Lincoln was chosen as the first historical figure to appear on a U.S. coin and how his image and legacy were carefully crafted by the designers and engravers involved. We will look at Victor David Brenner's life work and motivations and discuss how his immigrant background shaped his artistic vision and commitment to excellence. We will also examine the market trends and auction histories of the 1909 Wheat Pennies, comparing price fluctuations over time and offering insights into how collectors can identify genuine specimens, spot counterfeits, and determine proper grading standards for authentication and valuation. Whether you are a seasoned collector looking to expand your knowledge or a curious beginner hoping to learn the roots of American coin, collecting this journey into the 1909 Wheat Penny will provide you with a rich, immersive experience. So get comfortable, get ready, and join me on this 2-hour exploration of one of the most important and fascinating coins in American history as we uncover of the most important and fascinating coins in American history as we uncover the full story behind the 1909 Wheat Penny, from artistic inspiration to minting legacy, from political symbolism to collector obsession and everything in between.